and I'm welcoming you to today's webinar. We are thrilled to have you. It's going to be a insightful moment of learning. We're going to be discussing. I would use this opportunity. We would want to use this opportunity to learn one or two things on how to better our businesses and to encourage growth. My name is Nana Jamrabwati, and I am a sales associate with Dun & Bradstreet. 1 second. With Dun & Bradstreet. And today's topic is proof over promises. How credibility helps you bypass growth barriers. Okay, so before we go further, we would like to take some housekeeping items. First of all, this webinar is being recorded and all lines are muted by the organizers. Please submit all your inquiries and concerns through the chat box window. You can submit your questions during the webinar or kindly raise your hand using the Zoom feature and the host will unmute you so you can ask your questions. Dun & Bradstreet shall share the webinar recordings after the webinar. Please our email is there. You can reach out to the marketing department in case you would like to speak to the speaker directly after the webinar. And on today's itinerary, we've started 11. We will have the opening and the welcoming section speaking. And after that, we would do a brief introduction of the speaker who is going to take on the topic for today. And after that, we would have to introduce the DRS segment, how DRS supports growth-driven businesses. And so from 11:45 a.m. to 12 p.m., we'll be taking questions from the audience, the questions you have for the speaker or to us directly, and we'll be ending with a closing remark. Okay, so I would want to use this opportunity to introduce the speaker for today. His name is Kuro John Ngobo, the training and the business development consultant. He has a 15 years experience in banking experience from 4 banks, Standard Trust, GT, Access, UB, where he left as a senior manager. He also served as a CEO at the Center for Health Science. Mr. John also trains at the research and development. Sorry, he did training with research and development while in banking. He was in the sales role while leading the team in multiple branches as the regional head across different banks. Mr. John also is great at explaining profound things in simple, applicable ways. My name is Nana, and I'll be the moderator for today. But before we welcome in the moderator, I would want to give us a brief overview of Dun & Bradstreet, who we are, what we do, and how long we've been around. Dun & Bradstreet is the world-leading and most reliable provider of business information services. We were established in 1841, having almost 2 centuries of growth and growing relationships with impeccable data. D&B is ranked on the Fortune list as the most admired companies in the financial data category. Our global database consists of over 580 million entries, which I refer to as a universe of data. We trade in 200 countries. We speak 95 languages, and we trade in 181 currencies. So please help me with me welcome Mr. John Kuro Ngobo as he takes today's topic. We promise it's going to be insightful. Thank you. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you very much, Nana.
You're welcome, Mr. John.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much, Nana. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. John, and I can see you as well.
Okay, great. I wanted to be sure of that. I'm in my teacher robe, as you can see in the classroom setting and all. Thank you for the introduction. And it's not very often I find people who pronounce my name properly. So thumbs up for you, Nana.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. My name is Kubro. As you've heard, I will lead a conversation, and essentially we'll be talking about why is it that people sometimes struggle to showcase credibility, and how it can prevent you from growing as an individual, but most importantly, as a firm. That will be our conversation for today. Thank you for the introduction. I'm going to jump straight into it. One of the things I've learned over time in the business space is that punctuality is the soul of business. And people tend to think that punctuality only means arriving early, but that's not what it means. Only that, no, it means a little more. Punctuality also means doing things as quickly as you can within the agreed time frame. I'm going to do my best to make sure that's what happens today. Nana, you'll be my guide as far as what I'm showcasing is concerned. So please confirm to me that you can see my slides once you see them pop up.
Okay.
For everyone in the room, oh great. For everyone in the room, as Nana said earlier too, if you have questions to ask, I'm sure you'll be able to pass them on to us. We'll leave a 15-minute window after today's session where we can properly engage and take questions. But in the interim, I'm just going to jump straight into it. And I want Nana to confirm that she can see my slides. If she can, everybody else can.
Yes, I can. Okay. I think you're good to go now.
All right. So the housekeeping. Yes, thank you very much. So the housekeeping is already done. I'm going to be joining with a second device. I always do that. You know how things are, network and stuff like that, but I'm sure it won't disrupt in any way. Please make sure as we begin to speak that you have a pen and a jotter somewhere around you. In fact, I have two jotters with me, pen and a jotter. Every now and then take notes of things. You can even take notes of the question you want to ask so that when it's time to ask it, you can just bring it straight on board. All right. I represent a firm called Purple Training and Consulting, and I'll just quickly be quiet and play this short video. It tells you who we are, so I don't have to spend time playing it.
Purple Training and Consulting is the learning and development arm of Purple Concepts Limited. We provide services in training by improving skills of employees and management, consulting by providing unique and bespoke solutions to identify problems, recruitment by identifying, recruiting, and onboarding best fit employees, business development by engaging businesses in the ideas, initiatives, and activities aimed at making businesses better, from startups to existing businesses seeking strategies for growth or restructuring. The four guiding principles for our engagement with clients are providing value and applying innovation while displaying empathy and resilience. Our mission is to be a leading provider of exceptional services in appearance and content into clients across the globe. We also have a large faculty of trainers and consultants with several years of experience providing top-notch value. You can visit our website at www.purpleplethora.com.ng to view our programs and services, receive quotes, and contact us. You can also chat with us directly on WhatsApp by typing bit.ly/chatpurple on your browser or send us emails. We look forward to working with you.
All right, that's who we are. That's what we do. And we're going straight into today's conversation. Nana, can you still see my slides? I think I've pulled it down without meaning to.
Yes, you stopped sharing. Please reshare.
Okay, I wasn't sure of that. So, yes. Yeah, so let's talk about you and your business. I believe that, Nana, you can see now. Please confirm.
Yes, please. Yes, please. I can see your screen.
So, great. On behalf of Dun & Bradstreet Nigeria Limited, I will be discussing proof over promises, how credibility helps you bypass growth barriers. Our objectives will be straight to the point. First, understand why credibility is a currency for growth. Why is credibility important in today's world? And then we'll talk about a few frameworks that you can build to communicate proof. Some people have proof, but they don't communicate it right. How credibility drives sustainable customer acquisition and even retention, how to keep them as your customers. How to develop a personal action plan at the end of the day will be where I will birth today's conversation. Okay, first of all, the currency of trust, not dollars, not euros, not pounds, trust. How important is it in the world of business today? I'll tell you quickly from something I learned a long time ago. People buy from those that they like and those that they trust. And trust speaks to the issue of credibility. Credibility is essentially the quality of being trusted and believed in. People will buy from any organization, no matter what industry you're in, because they believe that you will deliver whatever value they expect. And please note, in the business world, we know that customers and clients have 4 different types of values they're looking for. There are those who want functional value. The thing should work. The microwave should heat up my food. The car should move. There are some who want emotional value. I want to feel good when I spend my money buying what you have to offer. Some people want social value. I have a status ascribed to me. I seem to be somebody that I may not be when I buy to share. People who buy things, I want to show them off a lot. That's social value they want. Then there's economic value, that I bought something from you and I saved money, or it helped me to make more money. But whatever the value you are offering is, people choose to buy first because they trust or they believe in what you're saying. I saw a movie a few days ago and it just hits me how trust is so important in the world of business. Trust is not just belief, firm belief in the reliability or ability of someone or something. So before anybody comes up to work with Dun & Bradstreet, they want to have some level of credibility, believing that when I put my money on the table, my value will come back to me. Ask yourself today, do you trust your own business? Do you trust your business to deliver the value you promise people that you will deliver every day, every time they sign up, every time they make a payment, make a purchase, even make inquiries about what you do? How much trust do you have for your business? Trust is the #1 growth driver the world over. It's even more interesting in markets like Africa, where there's low regulation and there's high competition. Trust is the strongest brand asset you could have. If there's plenty of regulation, there are standards, and there's, all of those things that exist in, people know that the system has created a business that has no choice but to deliver. But where there's low regulation, or people can circumvent regulation, where standards are not set in every part of the economy, what we rely on really is trust. Think about it. If you were in a climate, any country in the world, where the plumber had to do a good job and you have to pay, and there are laws enforcing that, you don't even bother thinking about whether the plumber is a good plumber or not. The gardener, everybody that provides you with services. But where there are little regulation or there are no laws, then they can do as they please, and you also can do as you please. So in a continent, like in the markets of Africa, a number of places don't have as much regulation to force people to deliver. So your greatest brand asset is trust. And consumers are skeptical. You can't blame consumers. They're not just buying your product or service, they're buying your integrity. So when Dun & Bradstreet said, we can provide you with X, how do you know they will? And many people have pitched and burnt their fingers, so they're not keen on doing it again. People focus on businesses with high credibility because people who have integrity would naturally spend less on marketing. People will refer you. People will refer you regularly. You attract better partners. You close deals faster because you have credibility. People don't buy products or services for that matter. They buy confidence. Think about it. So I want to ask you a question, and we're going to drop a poll on this platform very quickly. Does your market trust you? Not the market. I'm not talking about your own market. the market you play in or the market you want to go into? Does it trust you? So I want you to look at the questions I'm going to put up now, and we're going to do it in a poll as well. And answer for each of them. Give yourself a rating. Does the market trust you very often? Would be a 1. They trust you often. 7, 8 times out of 10 would be a 2. Sometimes they trust you based on your promises. Sometimes they don't. Give yourself a 3. That would be an average of there about 5. If they hardly ever trust you, give yourself a 4. And they never trust you, give yourself a 5. Now, be honest with yourself. At least on this platform, we can be honest with ourselves. But these are the questions you should ask yourself to know whether your market does trust you. First of all, ask yourself this question. I keep explaining my offer repeatedly. All right, pick one. Which of them works for you? I rely on discounts to convert. Customers hesitate or delay or even ghost me. They make inquiries, then they don't come back. Does that happen to you? Or no one is referring you. Even after a good experience, people don't refer you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, and then I'll go to, I want to see what you're dropping in the chat section. I want to see the kind of responses we're getting. Which one applies to you? I've seen a message in the chat section already. We'll come back to that in no time. Ask this question honestly. Do you have to explain your offer over and over again before you even get past the door? Do you keep relying on discounts to convert? I'll give you for free, or you have a 50% discount just for them to enter the door and even do business with you. Do customers hesitate, or do they delay, or do they even ghost you? They make inquiries and then they become a blob on your website or a bounce statistic on your social media handles. A bounce statistic is when somebody makes inquiries, but they don't close out. Do people refer you? If these things can be answered honestly, you would know whether your market trusts you or not. You would know straight away whether or not your market trusts you. Now, I want you to answer this question to yourself, even if you don't put the answers out there in the public. This is a measure, a test of how well you are trusted in your industry. Because it is not always about the product you are selling. It's often the lack of proof. What builds trust is proof. So there's little regulation. There are very few standards. People rely on other people that they know or experiences they've had or credibility to do business with you. And the thing to note is you must bridge the trust gap. There's usually a gap between the promise you make and the results that they get. And what you want to do is bridge that gap very quickly. People make all kinds of promises. We're reliable, we're different, we care. Everyone says those things, but customers have learned to ignore them. Customers want to experience it before they agree with you that you're truthfully going to treat them in that manner. Many people say things like, we've worked with 30 small businesses in Lagos. Here is what we have achieved. Now that is proof people can touch. In the work or in the business world, that's more important to people. If you can point a few people, if you have referrals, if you have people who give feedback about how they've engaged you, that will be proof. It becomes stronger proof if somebody on your list of 30 small businesses is someone I'm familiar with. So I can then call Kweku or call Benga or Chiamaka or Musa and ask, did you work with these guys? What was your experience? And then based on that, I can go ahead to engage. You should begin to let your results talk louder than your claims. So I want to do one thing before I continue real quick. I want you to rewrite one key brand promise you've given to customers before. Do this quickly, all right? Take your jotter and your pen. I have mine here, I told you before. And at this point, I won't continue. I need to see you do this. I need to feel you do this. Write one brand promise you have today and rewrite it. Rewrite it to communicate what you want it to communicate. Rewrite it to be clear, to be something that people will see and hear and say, hey, I think I'll go with these people. Your brand promises should open the door. We know, but how well are they doing that? So do that quickly. Rewrite one brand promise, just one. Pick one brand promise and rewrite it quickly. I want to feel you. I'm not going to say I think you're going to do it or I'm seeing you do it. I want to feel you do it. Rewrite just one brand promise that you have in your business. Do that really quickly. Be honest about it. Something you tell people in your business every day, we are the best at. We are number one in whatever it is you call it. But rewrite it clearly. And at this point in time, ask yourself, is this brand promise strong enough? And is it sustainable? Is it strong enough? And is it sustainable? I believe you've done that. Rewrite just one of your brand promises. If you have questions, begin to note them so that you can share them later as we proceed. Okay? Now, look at this. People have overpromised in the past, and it has turned out to hurt them. Overpromising feels necessary when you are under pressure to grow, when you feel small compared to bigger players, when you believe sounding big earns more respect. So you promise a little more, saying, don't worry, I got this, I can get this done. I have the capacity to do this. But it backfires when you can't deliver, when expectations rise and the outcomes disappoint, and you end up eroding trust. The sad part is that trust, or that erosion of your trust, begins to spread. People begin to hear about you, and many times, one upset, disappointed, or dissatisfied customer will talk to 10, 15 people about it. One satisfied customer usually only tells 2. So imagine how bad news spreads fast. And once people hear that, because there's a trust deficit already, they focus more on that rather than talking to you. In fact, what we say in the business world, in all my 16 years in banking, we always told ourselves something: under promise and over deliver. Under promise and over deliver. Case in point, you are a fashion designer, so you make clothes for people. Most people in different parts of Africa, and I train in 7 African countries now. I train in Rwanda, Ghana, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Kenya, Liberia. I can pick 1 or 2 other countries that I train in. So I've been able to experience different cultures. One thing that seems to be commonplace is promising and not delivering as promised. And that's because, regulation is not as popular as we expect it to be. So a regular fashion designer tells you, give me your fabric, I'll sew, or a tailor, I'll sew it for you and deliver it in 1 week. Then they take 2 weeks to do it. I'm suggesting that you reverse the trend. I'm telling you already how to begin to build credibility and under promise, but over deliver. Tell the person who came to you to sew their clothes for them that you will, if you know you can deliver in a week, tell them you deliver in 2 weeks. You know you can deliver in 1 week, tell them I'll deliver in 2 weeks. Get them to agree to 2 weeks. Explain to them why 2 weeks is appropriate because of embroidery and things you want to do. And then a week after, call them and say your clothes are ready. If they pick up those clothes a week after and they got a good job, your sewing was fantastic, trust me, they will be your biggest advocates. You have under promised 2 weeks and over delivered 1 week. Because hype will bring people in. It's results that keep. Stop over promising. Audit your messaging first. Remove all the vague claims. Make it clear. Use data and small metrics to back up your impact. Somebody owns a restaurant now, consulting for them. Can we do consulting too? And I told them something very key. Whenever your customers walk in, it's an a la carte restaurant, by the way, where you have to order first. Whenever people order a meal, tell your waiters to go back to the kitchen first, confirm from the chef that the meal is available and it will take, say, 15 minutes. Then come back to the client and say, your meal will be ready in 25 minutes. In fact, give them something to chew on, popcorn or something, while they wait. And, pretend it's unconscious, but just check in 25 minutes. So it's 12:30 now. In 25 minutes, that's at 5 minutes to 1, your meal will be ready. Now, once you've done that, you've used clear messaging to tell the customer your meal will not be ready until 25 minutes are over. Meanwhile, you know it to be done in 15. Deliver in 15 minutes and remind them of when you told them it would come. They just keep it in their mind. This is an a la carte restaurant that delivers on its promises. And then let your customers and your results speak for you. Document them, showcase them, and train your team to also communicate honestly but confidently. Don't, under pressure, say, okay, you know what, sir? I'm sorry. We'll get it ready in a week. Avoid doing things like that. Okay? Specific is believable. Vague is forgettable. Your meal will be out soon is vague. Your meal will be out in 25 minutes. That is specific. Customers buy trust before they buy products. They often decide whether they trust you or not before they even check out the features of that iPhone or the features of that laptop. They look for micro signals like clear messaging. I just showed you how that works, and a consistency in your tone. Not excited 1 minute or enthusiastic 1 minute, and then sounding depressed the next. Reaching you is also very key. Many people have businesses. In fact, another thing I want you to do now, if you're listening to me, go to your company's website, right? Check the phone number on your company's website and dial that number now. Many people we've done this for in a test session. We're doing a session about sales, and we are saying people need to be able to reach you easily. And they tell me, oh, we have 3 phone numbers online. We have called those numbers, and sometimes it belongs to a staff who has left the company. Sometimes the phone is dead. Sometimes the person picking it up is in the restroom, and the messaging is just unclear. Please try this. Send an email to your company email address and check how they respond. Call the number on your website and see if anyone picks it up. You have to be available to be reached, and responsiveness is also key. Then visual quality of your website. Check Dun & Bradstreet's website. You would want to do business with them. There must also be testimonials and ratings that would then lead to referrals. So people who have used your services or bought your products, there must be some of them pasted in on different parts of your website, social media, and co. So people can say, oh, this guy used them, I would like to use them too. Even how you show up online can begin to build or break trust. Some people's websites or social media handles sound like the entire office is one laptop. Some sound like it's a huge institution with so many departments. All right? When we started at Purple, our own personal example, we created email addresses for people who want to contact us for training reasons. There's training at purpleplethora.com.ng. There's consulting at purpleplethora.com.ng. There are 2 divisions of the business. To some people, it could be 2 human beings' email addresses. To others, there are 2 huge divisions that have 50 people working in them. But the messaging from that email address already says you're a credible business. It is at purpleplethora.com.ng, not at Gmail. Think about how you communicate. And you must understand psychology. Psychology is the study of human behavior. And while I was in banking, I bagged 2 master's degrees. The first one was a master's degree in managerial psychology, how management thinks. My second degree was in entrepreneurship and innovation, another MSc. And I learned how psychology drives what you do. Understanding human behavior tells you how to pitch, when to pitch, who to pitch to the extent that Martin Lindstrom years ago wrote a book titled Biology, Biology, Biology. You should find the book. There was a launch of the book in Nigeria over a decade ago, and I was there. And even communicating how your mind determines what you blew my own mind completely. You must understand the psychology of belief. People are naturally skeptical, especially when money is involved. And they use mental shortcuts to judge credibility. Have I heard this before? Who else is using it? Does this feel reliable? Some people will do ads or run ads and say things like, everyone on Broad Street is using our brand of phone. You know what that does to us? It says, everyone on Broad Street in Nigeria, in Lagos, people on Broad Street are sound people. They check things out before they make investments. If they are using it, it must make sense. And trust is built when you reduce uncertainty, when you give control to people, like I guarantee you, or a money-back guarantee. When there's clarity and transparency, you build trust. The more I speak, the more I want you to do one thing. Ask yourself, does this apply to my business? Are we doing this the way we said we would? Now, Dr. Roberts, Cialdini came up with 6 principles of persuasion, something that will get people to talk to you and decide to do business with you. He says the first principle of persuasion, to get people to believe in you enough to take what you say, buy what you sell, is reciprocity, giving something back. So imagine when I give something for free, you are obliged to buy from me. When I hand you a business card, you are obliged to return it to me. So what value is your business giving to people to get them to give you something back in terms of purchases? Number two is commitment. And that's essentially your consistency in delivering the same way. Also try to have an omni-channel perception to your business. When they go online or they call the numbers or they come into your shop floor, the experience should be the same. Social proof is number three. When they know that there are other people who use what you offer. We do business with those we like, so liking is also key. That's why we use many businesses, that is, use models to showcase their sneakers or their bags or their shirts. Because if you like the guy, then you would like what the guy is wearing. Being an authority figure is also key. Not that you have power of control, or control rather, but that you know what you're talking about. So if you're in any kind of business, please go and study that business very well. Don't make clothes and then you don't know where fabric comes from. If you're making meals, know the recipe. Be able to discuss the ingredients in the meals. If you provide services in training like we do, you should be able to understand training design and understand delivery and how adults don't learn the same way. So you must use a blended learning approach. And then there's the principle of scarcity. Offer while stocks last. When people get the impression that something will soon be scarce, the tendency is to take a decision quickly and then you persuade them to act. So do a quick self-check for yourself. Ask yourself, what are your top 3 trust assets? In your business today, what are the top 3 things people trust in your business? The top 3 promises you make that you usually would keep. What parts of your messaging rely on hope? We hope to give you what you want, not proof. We've given it to somebody else, so we can do the same thing for you. If a stranger landed on your page, would they feel confident or cautious? Go back to your page, website, Instagram, Facebook, X, or Twitter, LinkedIn, and ask yourself this question. If a stranger landed on your page, will they feel confident or would they feel cautious? And then what is one thing you could improve this week to show credibility? One thing. Maybe you can capture more of people's feedback. Maybe you can think before you make a promise so you can deliver that promise. Maybe you can ensure that the customer is clear about your messaging from the beginning before you go ahead to act. The new currency of growth is trust. That's the purpose of this seminar. The entire webinar is about this. The new currency of growth is trust. It is proof, not promises. And hype can bring them in. It is not hype that will keep them. It is proof that will keep them. So start showing your value. Start showing why you should be trusted. Because when trust becomes your strategy, growth becomes predictable. And when you trust, you will tell others. You will always tell others. Now, how do you build credibility from the inside out? Real quick. Begin to audit your current credibility. Begin to ask yourself, how are we doing? Where does my brand claim meet actual experience? In what area do we promise to deliver? Do our processes align with what we say we want to deliver to you? All the time, be asking this question, but start asking now. And then perception. How do people see you? Is it consistent with who you are? There's your character, right? And there's your reputation. Your character is who you are. Reputation is how people see you. Is there a sync or there's a disconnect? Credibility gaps often start from some misalignment in these things. You make a promise, you don't keep it. Your processes don't align with what you say. And there's a difference between who you are and how people see you. Check your operational credibility. So the first thing I mentioned is audit your current credibility. Next thing, check your operational credibility. The trust engine is how your business delivers. So your delivery timelines, your fulfillment accuracy. You know you can deliver on time and still not what the customer wants. You can miss the mark even though you delivered on time. How quickly do you resolve clients or customer problems? Your internal workflows, do they make work flow or do they block the flow? Very interesting. Your internal workflows, from the person who mixes the dough to the one who adds the toppings to the one who bakes the bread, the one who packages the bread, and the one who delivers the bread to the salespeople. Is there a workflow that is smooth? And then your systems, do they reflect the promises that you make? People wonder sometimes, what is a system? How do you run a business in any part of the world where you don't have to physically sit there and make sure that they deliver on their promises? The first thing you must pay attention is the three primary things any business has. Think about it, from Guarantee Trust Bank to Access Bank, First Bank, all the banks you can think of. Any business that has 300, 400, 500 branches, how does the MD run all those businesses without sitting there? Because people say this a lot. If you must do business and deliver on your promises, you must sit there as MD. You can't open a second branch if you try that. What they do is they have three things, and you should all write it down today. It's a bonus on today's session. The first thing you need is a system, like we mentioned here. In your household, there's a system of work. When power is out, you don't do certain things. When you get home, you put your shoes somewhere. There's a system of doing things. Do you have a system in your business? The first thing that can help you run a business and not necessarily sit there every day is systems. The second thing are structures. Do people know who reports to who? Do people know who is supposed to do what? Who reports to who and who does what? Then number three, processes. If you don't focus on the process, you can't determine the results. There's a way of doing things. If you do step 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, the result is almost always guaranteed. So do you have the SPS in your business? Systems, processes, and structure. You have those three, then your operations can do better. Your team, do they know how to communicate trustfully? Do they understand your promises to start with? And do they reflect them in their work? People you work with, you should train them for trust, not just for performance. Don't only iron the clothes properly. Iron them properly as was requested by the client. Deliver them the way you promised to deliver them. Include things like, if the laundry comes to you and there's a missing button, call the client or notify them. There's a missing button, I'm going to replace it, either at a fee or for free. Ask them if they want their clothes to be folded and have lines like my shirt does right now, or hung on hangers. Just make sure you align their expectation with what you are delivering and train your staff to know that. A team that speaks the truth usually builds trust faster than the one that sells hype. Content, you're always putting out adverts about how great you are. That's not going to do as much work as delivering on your promise. Then your customer service is the credibility amplifier. Note that customer service is not what you sell, it is how you sell. That's a quote you should write down and put my name in front of it. Customer service is not what you sell, it is how you sell. So that you sell phones that are always functional, books that are great to read, phone stands that can hold your phone. Anything you sell is not customer service. Even the things you give them that are not tangible, it is how you provide the service that is customer service. So the touch points that your customers have to engage you with, does it break trust or does it improve trust? Do your people understand empathy? Do they resolve issues quickly? You know that a slow or cold response can undo a great product. And customers often judge you based on your last service interaction, not what you've been doing all this while. The last time you served them is what they remember. In banking, we used to say, you are as good as your last performance. Note that small wins also build trust, build big trust, in fact. When bringing a customer on board has clear onboarding steps, for instance, when people are professional and thoughtful when they package stuff, not only package donuts or bread, but packaging the delivery of anything. When you have clear refund and delivery policies, if you receive a product and complain in 24 hours that what you ordered is not what you got, we'll give you a 50% refund or we'll replace the product. Design it beforehand. And every business should have a frequently asked questions section. Now that I'm saying it, I'm going to check that ours is also fully up and functional because we started talking about it recently. Let the answers to potential questions be available with the customers before they even come to you. Now, these micro moments will show intention and care, and they always add up. They always add up. Now, please confirm that you are still with me. This is just a test to confirm that you can still hear me and I can continue before I get to a close. All right. It's up or
Yes,
something.
I can hear
Now,
you.
Benjamin. Oh, fantastic. Awesome. It's important to get feedback, by the way. So you wonder, why did I do that? In anything you do, try to get feedback. I could have been talking for the next 1 hour and nobody would hear me.
I know he's paying attention.
So note those micro moments. Nana, please, could you mute your microphone? Thank you very much. How do you turn proof into a growth strategy? Real quick. First, document real wins. Encourage reviews and referrals. And be transparent as much as is possible, but please make sure you are consistent. And pay attention to all your touch points. What's a touch point? Any point a customer can use to touch your business. That's how I like to define things. To touch your business, your website, your emails, your business cards, your WhatsApp GP, your replies when they send you a message, your staff, your shop floor. Every touch point is a test of how much trust they should have in your business. And please use storytelling that builds trust, not hype. Storytelling that is authentic and clear builds trust, not just hype. So with the problem, you're asking, what was the challenge? What did you do in the process? What happened after? That's the proof. And then you can lead all the way to a structure. Don't fake drama. They say fake it till you make it. If we find out you're fake, we're going to walk away before you make it. So walk through storytelling that actually builds trust and not hype. And what if you don't have the big results yet? So I'm talking to small business owners who don't have big results yet. Begin to show credibility in your workings. That's how they say in mathematics. So in your process, in your thinking, in your transparency, begin to show credibility. I know restaurants that ensure that back of house from the front of house. So from where you eat, you can see where they cook. So you can tell about hygiene standards, the fact that they're using fresh vegetable, even before you decide to eat. So if you don't have big results yet, pay attention to trust levels. Remember that customers refer other customers, and customers believe customers more than they believe you. Make your sales cycles shorter. Let them complete a transaction in less time than they do with anybody else. In fact, let me give you a tip to beat competition. And this time, I don't want you to share with everybody. You need to hear this personally. You can beat competition, no matter how big they are, by doing 3 things. By being 3 things: faster, cheaper, better. You will build trust quickly if you get those 3 things out of the way. And then you need less persuasion from paid ads and things like that. You just generally build trust. Where there's no trust, you have to pay more, you have to sound more convincing, you have to do reputation repair very often. Trust just multiplies everything, and it helps your brand equity. Your brand is how people see you. If I ask you to tell me what a Toyota is like compared to a Honda or another brand, okay, Mercedes-Benz, a Hyundai, you naturally would have some prepositions, some words rather, not prepositions, some adjectives to describe them. That's their brand. What's your brand like? Focus on brand equity, long-term brand equity, by building proof and strengthening it over time compared to short-term hacks. All right. Short-term hacks means the customers can forget you. You can weaken it through overuse, and it needs constant push. Quickly, before I come to a close, how do you turn clients into advocates? Satisfied. In fact, the best business strategy is a satisfied customer. When they're happy, the rest will follow. Testimonials, case studies, all of that will happen. Referrals, once you satisfy them. The best way to turn them into advocates, satisfy your customers. Remember this: customers believe other customers more than customers believe you or your staff. When you talk, they'll say, well, you work there, you own the business. What else would you say? Of course, you say we're the best. We're number 1. We're the first in the game. We want other customers to tell us. So begin to build proof of all these things from every customer that you touch and you get involved with. And those customers will talk about you more. Some common growth mistakes as I run to a close. Don't try to go too fast without structure. People don't know who reports to who or who's doing what. Scale, but please make sure you fix delivery to match your ads. Hire, but make sure there's a cultural fit, not just technical knowledge. Don't lose sight of your early loyal customers, because if they are around longer, they would give you more leverage as far as loyal customers are concerned. And please improve your own voice rather than just trying to copy customers. We've done that over and over again in the business at Purple. Many businesses scale through proof, not hype, and you should do the same. I'll give you one action plan real quick that you can do. I've already told you a few. Call your website number, but also go and audit your website and your social profiles. Look for proof or trust signals. Ask one happy client. Pick one this week that we're rounding off now. Do it tomorrow, in fact. Look for one happy client and tell them to please give you a testimonial. Go through your onboarding process, how people come on board to become your customers, and make sure it is clear and transparent. All right. Just know that small actions eventually compound. So pick a few of them. One, check and audit your social media handles and your website, and find one customer to give you a testimonial. And in terms of final reflection, ask yourself and your team, what kind of experience are you promising? Because people like the experience, not just the results at the end of the day. Are you ready to deliver consistently? Do you have the machines and the people and the processes to do that? If customers could describe you in one word, this would shock you. If customers could describe you in one word, what word would it be? Imagine doing a survey of customers you've had for some time and asking them to honestly and honestly and anonymously describe your business in one word, and be open to that feedback. And then ask yourself again, what will you do to make them trust you and tell other people? Even if you are not in the room, your business should be speaking for you. This is essentially what I came to share with you today. And where I come from, we say, when we're the foul. Thank you very much. I'll wait for questions. Nana, I'll hand over the meeting room to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. John. That was an insightful session. I learned a lot, and I'm sure the other participants have one or two things they written down and they hope to implement after this. And I'm sure following this religiously, it's going to show a difference in their business. Thank you very much once again. It was an impactful session. And lately, we noticed that the focus has tilted towards Africa and Nigeria precisely. A lot of companies are looking to partner with local businesses to do business with. Now, the question is, how do you stand out to be identified as a credible business to be partnered with? Now, that's a question we need to look into. Most businesses are doing well locally, but how do you improve this continuous excellence on a global scale? Now, if you think of any powerhouse within your line of business, just think about it in your mind. They rely on us, Dun & Bradstreet, to verify you as credible. They rely on our input to identify you as a credible source they can partner with. So as asked, one of the things I noted, and one of the take-homes for me was when he asked, okay, I'm sharing my screen, just a second. When he asked, what was the take-home? Well, one of the take-home for me is when he asked, what's one thing you can improve on this week to show credibility in your business? Sorry. Okay. So one of the key things I took from this is, what are the things businesses can do to improve their credibility? I mean, one of the action plans you can include this week. So, and that is where we come in at Dun & Bradstreet. Like I said, for every powerhouse you have in your line of business, they rely on us as Dun & Bradstreet to verify you as being credible. Now, business owners are struggling to ascertain whether business owners are struggling to ascertain whether a particular business locally is legitimate or not. And this is how we help you project the right amount of optimization to actually give your investors the right opportunities to believe in you, that you are credible. Having a seal, having a DONS registered seal makes you stand out from competition. It displays accurate information about your business, which would attract potential clients who are seeking trustworthy information with you, wanting to partner with you. Okay, so the DONS register seal is built to reinforce trust. The symbol is a bold declaration that communicates that the organization is dedicated to ethical practices, openness, and integrity, which is actually a key recipe when you are looking to taking your business to the next level. It differentiates an organization from others. It gives you the winning edge. It helps you stand out in your line of business, in your business. The organization enjoys stronger and positive reputations. I mean, it helps win customers' confidence and enhances relationship. And it also helps them decide quickly as to if you are the one they want to work with or not. The organization has met the criteria by setting a leading company, a comprehensive verification process set by D&B, a renowned global entity in the business of data and insights. Now, what are the offerings? The DONS Register Sales Solution offers a business community an opportunity to enhance trust and confidence in its credentials in the online space by displaying verified and validated information. The DONS Register Sale allows companies to display an electronic mark, be it on your website, email signature. With just a click away, it helps onlookers confirm if your business is verified and validated. Companies can select among 3 profiles that are available. We have the basic, we have the comprehensive, and we have the premium. Now, these are what you'll be getting. So upon registering for a DONS registered sale, or upon the process, you are going to be getting your 9-digit unique identification numbers, which is uniquely assigned to you, a QR scan code with just a scan away, vital information, compelling information about your business is made available and visible to onlookers. You will then have a floating sale, which could be imputed into your marketing collaterals, electronic means of correspondence, etc. Your profile, and you ultimately get a global listing on the D&B Global Directory. So right after now, we've taken you through what we offer at Dun & Bradstreet, and we would want to know if there are questions so we can take them. So, Mr. John, can you hear me, please? If you can hear me, please respond. Okay. So, okay, let's check into the chat box and see if there are
any questions. Yes.
Yes. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat box so we can address that as the session is still on. Okay, so we have questions here. All right, I hope the slides will be shared with us. Yes, the slides will be shared with you right after this session. And thank you very much for this lecture. You're welcome, James from Abuja. Okay, so this question is from Livingstone. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. This one is directed to, okay, I am here as a person anticipating to begin a business. So I am glad to be here as a preparatory phase. My question is, what are the steps or factors to consider before venturing into business? Also, must one have the SPS before venturing into the business? I think the question is directed to Mr. John. So, Mr. John, if you could take that for us, that would be great.
Thank you very much. Awesome question. I'll start with the SPS question first. So I'll remind you, SPS essentially is systems, processes, and structures. Do you need to have it before you start a business? Honestly, the answer is no. To assume that you will build all of that before you start a business is to assume that you want perfection before you start. Nobody, well, not nobody, many people don't get everything fully formed before they start. So I think you can start, but keep it in mind that you begin to build it as you go along. How do they describe entrepreneurship? Someone jumping out of a plane and building a parachute as you descend. That's how we describe entrepreneurship. So look at it from that perspective. All right. What I would advise you to do, though, is to keep it in mind now. Systems, the way you want people to do things, begin to define it in the context of your business. In fact, first go and do a business, not a business plan, a business model canvas. There are 9 steps. Find it, answer the 9 questions, and then create a system. How something moves from here to here. If you own a retail store, when they bring any thing you purchased into your retail store to be sold, it must first go through a process, or rather, it must first put it somewhere. The inventory manager will first capture it. They will keep a record of it before it goes to the front store. When they sell, they must have receipts. That's a system. Just think of that in line with your business. Processes, you can document as you go. You don't have to have a process around cooking wache, making wache, cooking jollof rice, whether it's smoky, Nigerian, or Ghanaian, or any countries, before you create a menu card. Get the cook to cook the food, but follow the person as they go along and write down the process. So you're not creating a process out of thin air. You are watching somebody who knows how to do it and creating a process for them. That way, when you have a new cook, the person will just follow the same process. For structure, from the beginning, draw an organogram. I'm MD, I will have a head of finance. Even if you don't have those people now, or you can't hire them, please create an organogram now and put vacant in all those positions. And you've done all 3 SPSs. What steps should you take before you start a business? I think the major one today would be to confirm that there's a need for what you want to sell. And you can do market validation first or find other ways of getting a service. What is required in this space? And then define, so first confirm that there's a need for what you want to put out there. Then define your business clearly, very important. Define your business model, how your business will work. That's why I said, go and Google business model canvas. There will be 9 building blocks there. Answer the questions for all 9 building blocks for your business, and you have a model. And then go ahead to ask questions around how should you register the business, limited liability, LLC, or private ownership, all of those things. But starting points, do they need what I want? And then define your business clearly. You can do the rest as you go along. I'm not going to deceive anybody here. Ideas don't come fully formed. Not everybody who has a thriving business created the business on paper in full before they began. So there'll be mistakes, there'll be things that may not go as planned, but you would have started the business. Just start. Thank you.
Thank you for doing justice to that question. Okay, so for those that are asking, I have a question here. Does the DUNS number automatically grant you the seal? The answer is no. No, it's a process you need to apply for. There are requirements you need to provide, which would go through our due diligence process before that can be achieved. All right, so you're welcome, Chima. Okay, Chima, we will reach out to you right after the session on how you can get this seal. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Kelvin Comey, we would also reach out to you right after now. I'm looking through. Okay. Okay, so okay, so from Olufunke Odunton, You mentioned three things that can give you the edge over competition: faster, cheaper, and better. I would like to disagree on the word cheaper. I was rather cost effective. Okay, that's noted, Olufunke. Thank you. Okay. 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 I think we have someone who's raising. Okay, let me unmute you.
It's actually me. Actually, me. I want to agree with Olufunke that. So I want to agree with you in your communication to people outside your business. Please don't use the word cheaper. All right. But you should agree with yourself that what you are doing is actually focusing on cheaper. So you need three things to beat competition: faster, cheaper, better. In friendly, all of that. But at least be honest with yourself that the focus is cheaper. So it's not that cheaper is wrong. In communication, don't say cheaper. When you hear cheaper, you assume it is less quality, it won't deliver like you expected. And so don't use cheaper in communication. But in your own planning and in your decision to beat competition, faster, cheaper, better still counts.
All right. Okay. So if I saying good afternoon and he's interested, so if I will be reaching out to you right after this, we will duly note this. And I think with that, we will be coming to a halt for this session. And okay, all right. So Eric just said he actually got his seal this morning. Thank you, Eric. Thank you for your patronage. And for the pending questions in the chat box, they are duly noted. We would reach out to you, or you can also reach out to us. Our email is right on screen: info_Nigeria@dnbsame.com. You can walk into our office on the third floor, Access Building, number 1, Today Gafar Close off Adeni Jones, Ikeja, Lagos. Thank you, everyone. It's been a wonderful session. And thank you very much once again, Mr. John Ngubo. Thank you for making time to be on today's webinar. Thank you very much. So we'll bring it to a halt today, and we hope to see you some other time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for participating, everyone. Thank you.